there was all this different stuff going on, but Glow was real exciting. And so I ended up getting cast in that. And they dwindled us only from that audition. They only picked two of us. So out of the original 12, they only casted two of us from that audition. And I was one of them. So it was real exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then 12 of us, there was originally, they had about maybe 40-ish, somewhere around there, girls that they took to the gym and started training with Mondo Guerrero.
Yes, I had Hollywood on a
Yeah.
while back, and she was talking about the training process and being able to work, and it was really tough, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Well, her and I were the two that were picked from that audition.
Hmm.
Only two that came out of the initial day one of Glow. And so when we were at the training, it was intense because, some of them had no background in sports or athletics. So it was tough. And then some of us just really loved it. Like for me, it was easy. I just took to it, and it was exciting. It was fun. I could do it, but it was hard. It was
Yeah.
definitely something new. I mean, yeah, I had the cheerleading background and I was an athlete, but taking bumps and learning all the moves, and Mondo was really strict. Like we tell the story about when we were training and some of the girls weren't paying attention, and he grabbed the first girl and put her in a headlock, and then he eventually gave her the sleeper hold, and she passed out. And
Wow.
he tells the story because sometimes he's gone
Mm.
and done panels with us, and he'd say, "Oh yeah, she was flip flopping on the floor because she just passed out." And then all the girls were like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "Yeah, now do I have your attention? You guys aren't paying attention while I'm teaching something. You guys are going to get hurt." He says, "You got to be paying attention." So from that point on, everybody was pretty much focused, and it took some time because some of the girls just didn't get it. So, Matt and David and Mondo had to weed out the ones that weren't working. They might have had the look that they were looking for, but they weren't grasping the wrestling. And then vice versa. There were some girls that were really good at the wrestling, but they didn't quite know where they were going to fit in with which character did they think going to use them for. So, every time we went, some girls would be gone, whether it was by choice or not, and then the wrestling, we were done, and we did the pilot in December of 1985. It didn't air till 1986, but once we did the pilot, then we had to go sell it. So it had to go to the NAPI convention. It was syndicated, and we had to get stations to actually buy the show. And then when it got picked up, we started, and I was asked to be one of the trainers for the show. So myself and Americana were the trainers for the show. So season one girls, we hired all the new girls and then we trained them. And then season one, we started filming and everything. And, it became a big hit. We didn't know what we were doing. Nobody gave David McLean a handbook and said, this is how you create an all women's wrestling league, because there wasn't anything like it, right?
No, it was unheard of.
Yeah, unheard of. And you only had, the very few. Ooh, my pineapples are falling. You had the women wrestlers that wrestled in between the men's matches. You had one every blue moon, and those pretty much were just the break for you to go to the bathroom or go get your beer or, freshen up your snacks and stuff like that. So, we really didn't know. We didn't know if it was going to succeed. We didn't know how it was going to be accepted, right? Here we are going into a male dominated sport that it's never been done before. And so, little did we know it was going to be, so popular. And then you took David's idea of getting pretty girls to wrestle. And at the beginning, they thought, oh, you guys are mud wrestlers. We're like, no, we're not mud
You're
wrestlers.
the real deal.
We are professional wrestlers, just like what you see Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and all of those guys, what they're doing. We're trying to introduce this to the world of women's wrestling. And,
Yeah.
I mean, who knew it would take off? And it just, was really popular because then our director, ended up adding in all the campiness, the laughing and the hee haw kind of comedy sketches and music videos and all the fun stuff that everybody really liked. David wasn't so hot about it, but it worked. And the combination was a good mix and everybody loved it, and so it was just a lot of fun to do. And then the feedback from the fans was, they loved it. Let's just keep going. And unfortunately, I didn't get to continue because I got hurt. So I only did the pilot and then season one and part into two, and then it went on season two, three, and four. So I wish it would have been longer, but unfortunately it didn't last, and it's a bummer. But you know
What
people,
happened?
well, I had several injuries. Unfortunately, I had pre pilot, I was wrestling barefooted. I started wrestling barefooted, and then we did a promo here in Hollywood at the Tom Schneider show, and it was they put it outside. There was a ring and we had like a battle royale, and I just have an old basketball injury with the bad sprain ankle, and I just tripped and twisted bad, and then it was pretty bad. And so ever since then, I just said, you know what, I'm going to have to wear boots. And so I ended up putting on boots. And I don't know if you know that I did play a second character also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I played Sarah of the S&M, Sarah and Mabel tag team. We're
Hmm.
these the masked characters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sarah, and then Nadine, who was Ashley Cartier. She played Mabel, and so we were the tag team. And so that was another thing that I did. And so going into the boots, I just had to have two separate pair of boots because one was blue, like my Royal Hawaiian stuff, and then I had black ones, which were for Sarah and Mabel. And I'm surprised that nobody knew that it was us because we did have kind of distinctive body types, right? And but we did change. Like I had to change my total mannerisms of how not to wrestle like the Royal Hawaiian, right?
Yeah,
And
change things to make it seem different.
different, yeah.
Tweak it.
Which is hard because I used to have either a tag team match with Spanish Red, singles match as Royal Hawaiian, and then a tag team match with Sarah Mabel. So sometimes, I was doing more than one or two matches in the show. So it was like just trying to change hats, and then my voice is pretty distinctive. So it's like I couldn't talk like I do like this as Royal Hawaiian. So we had to kind of talk like this, and we were the hillbillies. So we had to kind of make up
Yeah.
this corny, routine, and we had a ball. Ashley and I had a lot of fun, and we're still friends today. So we talk about it. We were at CAC in August, and we took some pictures, and we got napkins, and we cut holes in it. Did this like pretending like we were Sarah and Mabel. So it was fun, lots of fun, but it was definitely a challenge. Trying to remember. Okay, well the masks were on, and they were kind of like gunny sacks, not
Mm-hmm.
a mask, right? So they weren't really firm, so they moved around a lot, and it was comical. It was a lot of fun, but